A'ja Wilson is tripping, man. She is tripping, calling out Aaliyah Boston.
The Indiana Fever won the game, and look, if we're going to be completely honest, probably won the whistle as well.
A'ja Wilson and Becky Hammon were going to blame the officials and the fouls for this loss, 1,000%.
The Las Vegas Aces star just lost it, calling out Aaliyah Boston's so-called special whistle after the Fever's big victory. But instead of taking accountability, A'ja pointed fingers at the refs. The Indiana Fever came out with fire and shocked the Las Vegas Aces, securing a statement win that had fans on their feet. But what really had people talking wasn't just the Fever's energy. It was the free throw numbers.
The Indiana Fever won the game, and look, if we're going to be completely honest, they probably won the whistle as well.
The Fever went to the line over 30 times, while the Aces only had around 11 attempts.
Once I checked the box score and I saw the Indiana Fever shot 30-some free throws and the Aces shot like 11, I knew what time it was.
And right on cue, A'ja Wilson and Coach Becky Hammon pointed straight at the refs.
A'ja Wilson and Becky Hammon were going to blame the officials and the fouls for this loss, 1,000%. With the discrepancy in free throws, I knew that this would be what they'd run to.
Instead of praising Aaliyah Boston's dominance in the paint, they shifted the focus to foul calls, acting like the whistle decided the game. Here's the truth. This was one of the rare nights where Boston finally got the respect she deserves from officials.
They've tightened up when it comes to freedom of movement, in this game especially, but I think they did such a bad job of the freedom of movement when it came to the Lynx game that they really flipped 180, and that benefits the Fever.
All season long, she's been fighting through constant contact without getting calls. But this time, the whistle was fair.
The Aces win the whistle 9 out of 10 times they step on the floor. 9 out of 10 times you are playing 6v5 because the referees, sometimes even 7v5 or even 8v5 with these referees. Sometimes it is just not a fair matchup when you're playing the Aces. And in the rare occasion when the Aces don't get the whistle, it's something that you're just kind of like, oh damn. This is a real shock.
And Boston made the Aces pay for every foul by going straight at them with power and confidence.
Aaliyah Boston was sending her to the line. They were fouling, man. It's hard to handle Boston in that paint. It's hard. That's why they probably ignore all the fouls that happen on her. We know she's the least officiated player in the league when it comes to fouls for her.
The Fever didn't win because of the refs. They won because their stars stepped up and refused to back down. After the game, A'ja Wilson hit the podium and made headlines by saying Aaliyah Boston had a special whistle.
But Aaliyah did say I have a special whistle. And she shot 13 today.
And pointed to her 13 free throw attempts.
I also saw this meme which I found hilarious. Aaliyah Boston, A'ja's whistle to A'ja Wilson. Aaliyah Boston with the Thor hammer. With the Thor hammer for A'ja Wilson with A'ja's whistle. In fairness, it was the Aaliyah whistle today. It was absolutely the Aaliyah whistle.
But let's be real. That comment backfired instantly. Fans were quick to remind Wilson that she herself lives at the free throw line.
You, of all people, not going to be the one to do this, though. You shoot 4,327 and a half free throws per game. On average, if you got 30, you probably got 17, 18 from the free throw line. Let's not do that, A'ja. Let's not do that. You've been getting calls all year. Everybody, not just Aaliyah, has been talking about the A'ja Wilson whistle. Let's not do that, A'ja. Come on now. You're better than that.
If there are two players that cannot complain about a special whistle, it is Paige Beckers and it is A'ja Wilson. It absolutely is. Paige and A'ja have had two of the most favorable whistles I've ever seen.
In fact, she's had countless games with double-digit free throw attempts, often more than entire opposing teams combined. So, for A'ja to complain the one night Boston finally gets calls, that comes off as pure hypocrisy. Analysts are calling it a meltdown. saying Wilson was just salty after being outplayed. While Boston was attacking, drawing contact, and earning trips to the line, Wilson settled for jumpers and struggled under pressure. Instead of owning the loss, Wilson tried to create a distraction.
A'ja Wilson, you have attempted 48 free throws in this postseason alone compared to Aaliyah's 23. Come on, man. 13 of those free throws of Aaliyah's was today. Do not act like that. You're better than that. That's all. Hey, you the MVP, all right? You the MVP. You got the trophy. You got the title, right? So when one day, just one day, Aaliyah Boston gets more free throws than you, all of a sudden, it's cheating.
But all it really showed was that the Fever's physicality and Boston's dominance got under her skin.
The DeWanna Bonner situation is just yet another example of why people are experiencing WNBA fatigue. Yep, I said it. DeWanna Bonner, you guys remember DeWanna Bonner quitting on the Indiana Fever, leaving the team for personal reasons.
While A'ja Wilson was busy pointing fingers at the refs, another storyline has been heating up: the Dana Bonner saga. Remember, Bonner quit on the Indiana Fever earlier this season, walking away from the team without even telling her teammates, then resurfacing in Phoenix. Now, she's trying to play the victim, calling the criticism from Fever fans cyberbullying. Let's be clear. Fever fans didn't bully her. They held her accountable. They saw her take the contract, give up on the team after a handful of games.
The way DeWanna Bonner departed from the Indiana Fever has warranted every type of smoke that has been thrown in her direction. I understand when people didn't watch, it's easy to kind of get away with the stunt that you pulled this year. However, when people are actually tuned in and they are invested, they pay attention to things like that. And when a majority of them are real sports fans, they can't help but to call out the nonsense.
And run to play with her wife in Phoenix. When she returned to Indiana, she got booed, and rightfully so. That wasn't hate. That was fans demanding respect for their team.
You come back to Indiana, you get booed. They sub you in, you get booed. Cock Copper. Oh, I can't believe you guys booed DeWanna Bonner. She's a legend, man. She's a legend. How dare you boo her, man? It's not right. It's not right.
What makes this even more frustrating is the hypocrisy across the league. When Caitlin Clark and the Fever were being hacked all season long without protection from refs, nobody in the league came to their defense. But now, when the tables turn and Boston finally gets calls, suddenly it's the refs ruined the game, or the fans are being too harsh. The reality is simple.
The Indiana Fever won the game, and look, if we're going to be completely honest, they probably won the whistle as well.
Once I checked the box score and I saw the Indiana Fever shot 30-some free throws and the Aces shot like 11, I knew what time it was. A'ja Wilson and Becky Hammon were going to blame the officials and the fouls for this loss, 1,000%. With the discrepancy in free throws, I knew that this would be what they'd run to.
Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston have elevated the Fever into the spotlight by showing grit, professionalism, and composure. Meanwhile, stars like A'ja Wilson and Dana Bonner keep shifting blame and playing the victim when the game doesn't go their way. The Fever are setting a new standard, and it's clear not everyone in the WNBA can handle that spotlight.
A'ja Wilson is tripping, man. She is tripping, calling out Aaliyah Boston.
The Indiana Fever won the game, and look, if we're going to be completely honest, probably won the whistle as well.
A'ja Wilson and Becky Hammon were going to blame the officials and the fouls for this loss, 1,000%.
At the end of the day, the Fever didn't win because of a whistle. They won because Aaliyah Boston dominated, and Caitlin Clark continues to change the culture in Indiana. The excuses from A'ja Wilson and the drama from Dana Bonner only highlight the difference between the Fever's professionalism and the chaos around them. The message is clear. This is a new era. The Fever aren't backing down, and the WNBA better get used to it. If you're standing with Caitlin Clark and the Fever, drop a 100% in the comments right now. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for all the latest WNBA updates and Fever news.